Hello everyone, this is Clinton Hitman, back again with a crazy area in Canada. I made a video about this, but I really just flew over it. And I posed the question like, hey Canada, what the heck is this? So let's check it out. I have since found out what the heck that is. So we're gonna go ahead and get in the air. I like these jets because they're fast and you can, check out the area quick. Also, it's got this map here, I forget what they call them, but anyways, that way kind of gives us a frame of reference of how big we are, where we're at. So let's get a higher view of this crazy circle island. Upon research, I have found out that this is the second largest lake island in the world. And we'll take a look at what the first one is here in a second. But I just kind of want you to see how out, of course, in the middle of nowhere this is. And yet it's literally a perfect circle. So I was questioning like, hey, what is this? Well, I just went ahead and went on Google Maps and I looked at the area, and sure enough, it is a crater, or was hit by a huge asteroid that's like the 5th biggest that ever hit our planet. And it left this huge hole, and there's no speak of the rock being splattered anywhere, but let's just take a look here. And it is René Levasseur Island. I'm assuming that's how you say it. And it's also called Mount Babel. Would you look at that? The highest peak, which I didn't see a peak. The highest peak is called Mount Babel. So let's check this thing out. Okay, that's 3,100 feet above sea level, but I mean, a lot of the whole terrain could be that high. And look at that little hill there. You calling that a mount? I don't think so. And it's called Babel? Seriously? They really do hide these things in plain sight, don't they? So I have my window open, so you might hear some outdoor activities, but it feels really nice, so I figured I'd let the patio doors open. But I just can't believe that this is actually called Mount Babel, and I was questioning like, yo Canada, what the hell is this crazy thing? And then for it to actually be called Mount Babel, it's just like I don't believe in coincidences. I really don't. Not when you deal with the powers that be. So yeah, from an impact 214 million years ago. Okay, and they know that? Sure. Here's the other lake island, and it looks like a regular island. That's the first biggest lake island, and it looks normal compared to the second biggest, which is a circle. Right. I mean, it's Wikipedia, right? So, oh my god, my brain hurts. They make my brain hurt. I really wish they would just not give us any information and just show us and say, hey, look, we're going to put an archaeological team together and we're going to go study this and we're going to tell you the truth. But no, they just covered up with BS. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. And that right there just looks like it's been blown apart. I mean, it just looks like a big impact right there in the middle. But then you see this, and it's like, what? I mean, and then I mean, I'm gonna check out all this stuff today. This is gonna be a long video, so hang tight. I was gonna make a few different videos on Canada and everything we're about to see, but I've got so many other videos that I want to push out, and I got another one that I'm gonna do today. So I was like, well, let's go ahead and make a long one, and let's just show how messed up Canada got. So, I mean, from what I've seen in some Facebook posts, I mean, there's a Mudflood Canada or Tartarian Canada Facebook page, and it just looks like Canada was one of the capitals for Tartaria. You know what I mean? And Australia, it looks crazy too. So I'm gonna do some videos focused on Australia. That's probably after this next one that I've got coming up that I'm gonna do today. But yeah, I think Canada was really ravaged by just massive explosions, whether it be from comets, you know, from outer space, or whether it be from ancient technology that, you know, we just wanted to wipe out civilization. The powers that be just literally wanted to just keep control of us. So they blow up these big mountains that, I mean, will look like a Tower of Babel. And some people say Mount Vesuvius was a Tower of Babel. I actually flew over one that I don't know if I'm gonna go over again. I might just repost it now that I'm in this whole Mudflood community. But I mean, there's this mountain in New Zealand, and if you fly around it, it just looks like there's roads that go all up on it, like all around it, wrapping around it, just like that picture you see of the Tower of Babel. It just looks like roads wrap around this mountain, and then it's like perfectly circle, but then there's a whole nother, what they say is a volcano, but you know, all of us, we know now that some of these volcanoes could have just been huge explosions, huge nukes, or directed energy. Who knows what? I mean, we don't even know what we have now. The things that the U.S. military is capable of, or China. So, yeah, kind of just crazy. So here I am. I just want to show y'all how big this circle of water is, and the second largest lake island in the world, so that you can see how truly massive it is. I mean, just think of the explosion that happened here, whether it be a comet or not. I mean, it's definitely extinction type explosion. And then also, if you just look at the land in front and around it, it just looks like it's been washed away, or you know, like those pictures you see of the testing range where the atom bomb just blows all the palm trees, and the wind and the dust, it just kind of blows off the top layer. That's kind of like what some of these areas look like. Like it just got blown away by a huge explosion, which they even say was a comet, and the fifth largest to hit Earth. So it's not like they're saying, but you know, why call it Mount Babel when there's no mount there? You know what I mean? Like, there's more mounts, you know, mountains around it. Like, that's taller than whatever's on whatever they call Mount Babel. Why don't they call that Mount Babel? You know what I mean? So, anyways, it's just, and you can see that from space too. I mean, that's high up there. You can be super high and see that. And on to the next subject in Canada. You can once again see how big it is, but look at these swipes here. Looks like somebody stuck their fingers in the fudge jar or the peanut butter jar, you know what I mean? It just looks like a couple fingers just give me a taste. And I flew over this. It was pretty boring because there's nothing really there. You're in the middle of the trees. It's just a couple swipes. I mean, all you can really see is how big it is. As you know, I mean, it's super long. Obviously, I mean, look at that. And this really doesn't say anything. It only talks about the length, the height, or the width, and the different names. It went through all different kinds of names, but it really just looks like a couple fingers just dipped in while the land was hot and pliable and just kind of swiped. I just thought that was really interesting. And this is just all whatever, you know. This is just stuff that they can measure. And all these stupid stories. So blah blah blah, Site 33, that's the only thing that kind of stuck out to me. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I had some footage of me flying over it, but it was really just pointless. I just kind of wanted to point that out, and here's some history about it. So, I mean, who really knows? Like, I mean, I've never really seen anything. I've never really seen a lake like that. I mean, do we really know how lakes are actually formed? I mean, now that we're on this road of the Mudflood, and you know, now I'm kind of beginning to believe that, well, I definitely believe that there's all kinds of history buried underneath who knows how many layers of soil. But I mean, it's confirmed. I already put out videos of the Yucatan Peninsula and how entire cities were just buried. Those are the islands that are on that finger. I'm gonna call them Finger Lakes. So yeah, I mean, it's just really weird looking. Speaking of weird looking, then that got me going. I was like, well, what else am I gonna find? That brings me on to the big one. Here's part 3 of the video, and this is a huge crater. I mean, they actually do say that this is a crater. Look at it, it's an entire land formation of like a quarter of the country. This is like the top left side, I mean, of the country, I guess. Maybe the middle part. But we're about to fly over this, and you're gonna see just, I mean, I could probably fly around that whole rim in a jet, and it's gonna take me at least 1 whole hour. And that's going like 1,000 miles an hour or whatever those jets go. So, I mean, this is just, if you think that little crater was big, I call it little now. This is just insane. So I want to see like what else is around there first, because sometimes I like to spawn away from the area, and so I'm kind of looking for like weird things here. This looks weird, but you know, still somewhat could be natural. And I'm just really looking for like the coastline, like things on the coastline, any kind of like symmetric object or parallel lines. And I'm not really seeing much. So that doesn't say anything, because already right now I see lines. And this just looks like it's been just shredded. And with, you know, it should look like it's been shredded if it got hit by something that huge. And so let's start the trip. Alrighty, so we're at the very tip the bottom side there of that map where, you know, the crater hit, and just looks all chopped up like grated cheese, just been peppered like a different planet. So maybe all those pictures of different planets are just different parts of our planet, and maybe I mean more different parts of our plane in different areas where we're not allowed to go. So, and that's what we're actually about to get into the next video, is the yellow brick road. Was that real? Is it real? Where is it? And yeah, I mean, I actually fly over a part of the yellow brick road apparently, and it just looks, I can't wait to do it. I can't wait to make this video, and I really want to push through on this one and finish out and let you just kind of see everything. Is some of these kind of like, this takes time, you know, like actually just flying the plane to find these locations. I mean, yeah, sure, I can spawn and pick wherever I want, but these places are actually pretty dang big, and it does take some time to actually get to some locations. And if, you know, also the type of plane, so it does take a while, but I'll try to keep you entertained until then, and just kind of share with you what's on my mind whenever I go to these places and what I'm thinking about. So right here, it just looks like natural land formation, and nothing really out of the norm, until you really realize that, man, this is just one, just imagine that all that was just maybe land at one point. All that, and it just got hit by something huge. I mean, what the heck could have made such a big, huge hole? Yeah, sure, like, of course, maybe all the NASA fanboys or fangirls are gonna say, well, comet hit it. Yeah, well, where's all the debris at? Where's all the different chunks of the rock? Like, I mean, do you actually know? Have you been there? Like, I've done not a lot of research, but I look into these places before I go, because I don't want to fly over somewhere and say, well, what do you think? Well, what do you think? So I kind of like to be a little bit knowledgeable before I go to some of these places. And and what I mean by knowledge is I like to get the core, the base information, like what the mainstream info. Look at that, it looks like a straight line, but really we know it's a big curve. Anyways, so I just like to line up what Wikipedia says with what other places say. And I mean, I don't know, that's it. I try to get the information that's out there, and then to me, I will discern whether or not I believe that information. To me right now, if this was a huge comet, wouldn't there be a bunch of other remnants of this huge meteor? I mean, if it hits half land, half water, I guess, then where's, you know, I'm just interested in where all the comet debris would be, all the meteor debris would go. Is it this stuff above on the land? I mean, is this what we're looking at? And is that what covered an entire civilization, possibly? Is, you know, the remnants of the meteor just fell and rained on top? Could be. But, I mean, I'm getting pretty bored. I could just fly forever, so we're going to pick out a spot that is a little bit more unusual. We're going to see what else is around there, actually. So that's where we were, and just, oh my god, could you imagine flying over the whole thing? Now, it might be worth it. I might actually do that. Leave in the comment if you actually want to see me fly, because I'll even live stream some of these things. If you want, leave a comment and I'll fly over the whole thing. Or if there are some areas, that might be better too. You can leave in the comment if you want me to fly the whole line, and I'll do that. I'll put on music, and you can fly, be my co-pilot, basically. So I can do that, and you can also leave a comment of other places that you think that you would like to see overhead views of. So already it's like I'm going into this area. I'm like, what the heck? There's a airport there. Sure, like what? Seriously, why are people living there? That just makes me think that there was already a city there, and it got blown up, and the people just needed to go back and live there. Like those are the descendants of the people who lived there before. I'm guessing, because you know how people. I mean, even me. I was born and raised here in Texas, and I lived out in Vegas for 2 years, but I kept wanting to come back home. I mean, I made enough money to stay there in Vegas. I could have stayed there, but I just was drawn back to home. And maybe that's what these people did on this little tiny island that got blown up. Is this was maybe a big city, and it's not there anymore, but they're like, well, I don't care. I'm gonna go get a boat and I'm gonna go back there. Our descendants are gonna go back there, or our future generations will go back there. We'll tell them about what happened. So yeah, I don't know, that might be something to look into, see what folk stories from these people have been carried down. But until then, we will continue with our modern day exploration and deal with the censorship that Google bestows upon these maps. Yeah, because they hide a bunch of stuff. As detailed as they give us on some things, they taketh other things away that need more detail, I would say, than other things. But this game was made for sightseeing, basically, and I don't think they realized that a flat earther conspiracy theorist was going to be checking out all these spots. And maybe they actually did realize that, because as you'll see in the next video, man, you want to talk about heavily censored areas, man, like it's crazy. So anyways, don't mind the kids in the background. They're just out playing. It's a Monday for some reason. I don't know why they're not in school, unless it's a week off for Thanksgiving, Columbus Day, the person who discovered America. Anyways, so yeah, I'm just kind of looking, and this looks like those lava photos, like the melted rock. See how it kind of just flows and pulls together. And this is apparently like a dispute between two native tribes or civilizations, and it's a land disputed area, of course. So one tribe says it's theirs, the other tribe says it's theirs, the British government says, oh no, it's ours. But I think they've released it to one of the two tribes. But regardless, I mean, good luck coming out here. Like I mean, it costs a lot of money to come out here, and then I'm sure that, I mean, I don't even know, like, I don't see any roads. Or what's the point of even coming here? What are you gonna do? Like, I guess you could take some stone or something, take it home with you to go get it, like, so go get traced back to whatever kind of chemicals you find on it, or maybe there's some space rock on there. Maybe there's a meteor rock. There's got to be some space dust on it, right? If a meteor came from outer space. So I mean, unless someone actually goes there, all we have are our brains to put the pieces together, because this puzzle is just spread everywhere, and there's little pieces of the puzzle just all over the world. I mean, look at this. This just looks bombed out and tattered. What? So this had to have been land, right? This had to have already been land if this is there. And then it got bombed with the triangle there. And then it got bombed, and then that's where the water came in, or like, how is there water still there if the land is shallow? This whole thing looks like just Swiss cheese. We got stripes in there. Like, this stone here either looks like it's been melted, or yeah, I was doing a little bit of research on this, because I started looking it up, obviously, if I know there's a land dispute. And I found this website that has a story about it, and I don't know, I'll show y'all here pretty soon, but it was super interesting how he thinks this was formed. I mean, look at that. That looks like that has just been just blown from somewhere. It just does not look normal. You know what I mean? That almost looks like that Saudi Arabia, or the Dubai thing, the island, that palm tree island. It kind of looks like that. I mean, I'm not saying that this was man-made, but it could have been man-made, and then obviously that big old huge comet hit, or whatever they're saying it is. So that could have deformed some of these stripes. But I mean, to me, this is just really interesting looking. Now, I would totally think this is natural if it wasn't next to a huge crater, right? Like those stripes and things, to me, like, I'm like, okay, well, that could happen, naturally, like through erosion or something. Like this is out in the Pacific Ocean or something. Then, or if this was just alone and not by, but look at that. There's just stripes of land. That just looks super weird. Just the strips of land. I mean, to me, that does not look natural. That looks man-made. But how long ago? What was the original structure? What did it look like? Could this have been an Atlantis? Or, I don't think so. I'm just saying that there could, because we don't know right now, so keep an open mind. And, this really could have been an Atlantis, a Atlantis, one of a few. So, yeah, I just think that is a pretty weird looking crater, huge thing. Which brings me on to part 4. And as I was looking around, I saw more craters. I mean, there's that one. And then I was looking and I found a whole nother one. So, all right, let's just go back to the other one. First one I saw. I haven't even flown over this yet, because I found it as I was looking at other maps at other craters. Isn't that weird? I was looking for one crater, then I found a huge massive one, then I found these two, and then there's one down below, like closer to New York. So how have I never seen this before? But it's got another island. It's like a bullseye. Look at that. So, man, impact craters. Like, Canada just got Canada got bombarded at some point. Big time. You can read this for yourself. The name is right here, as you can see. And they're saying that both circles are touching, and that it's only dotted with those little islands. So some pictures, you can see that they're they're separate, and then other pictures you see that they're connected. But honestly, the actual real pictures I see, they're separate, and then in the fake photos that they've, you know, digitally drawn up or whatever, it's separated. But like, that's two right there. That's one big one, another small one, and now I'm starting to see like lines, actually. Look at that. Not only craters, but look at that. That's a V, upside down A, and it looks like it's pointing to a city. And there's more lines coming from there. So I'm like, you know what? What the hell else is going on here? I just scroll over a little bit more, and I'm seeing way more lines. I mean, I'm just seeing lines everywhere. I had to take some screenshots because I couldn't believe it. Look at that. They're off to the side there, but they're completely parallel to a real line that I just did on my computer. And this is it's just mind-blowing. This is a confirmation that this whole place was like the Mayans, like the Mayan city, I think. I mean, if anything, I think this whole plain was just nothing but cities. And maybe, yeah, sure, there's some foresty areas or something in between, but by the looks of it, I think that the population was probably like 100 times more than what we have now. And they talk about population control now. I think they have the perfect lines. I think they have controlled our population to the highest level. And it's easier to control a few than it is to control the masses that I think were here before us. If you see these buildings, if you see all the Tartarian buildings, look at that, just lines everywhere. I mean, it kind of stops up here, but then does it really? I still see some lines, like just straight lines, and sometimes there's like two close together. So yeah, I think the evil powers that be have some sort of way to just totally extinguish us and just hit the reset button whenever things get out of control. Because this looks absolutely melted. This looks like burnt wood. And then also this cooled. So, yeah, Canada, sorry for you. I guess you were a mecca at one point. And like those are the roads that we make now. You saw all those straight lines, but yet we make roads like this because there's no way that we can make roads that go through terrain like how they were. So these are the roads that we make compared to the perfect straight lines that you saw over there. And look at that, it just looks completely just blown away, like the swamplands in Louisiana after a hurricane. That's it right there. That's what it looks like. So yeah, it's just absolutely crazy. Now that little small circle to me doesn't even look that big. There's a scar there, or is that a cliff? I don't even know nowadays. With the way that they have this, it looks like that could be water. But yeah, this just looks like molten rock just pooled. So you tell me what you think, because now I'm just looking everywhere. This is probably another one. See, in the telltale sign is the island in the middle. It may not be a perfect circle, but a perfect circle can fit in there. You know what I mean? I'm just seeing stuff everywhere now. Everything just looks like just pop, 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 like it just got dusted with a mass amount of things. Who knows what kind of, I mean, that circle there, I mean, it's just, but this is like undisputable. If we go down south, there we go, Prince Edward Island. That is a perfect circle right there. And then once again, there's a land in the middle. The remnants of whatever was there. Perfect circle. The powers that be, they can terraform. They can make whatever they want. They can make us disappear, give us viruses, and they can put fluoride in the water to keep us from thinking. Yeah, that's what they want us. Don't think about it, dude. The government said it. Just don't think about it. You know who that is. I'm not even gonna say who they were. Just don't even think about it, dude. The government said it was good, so just shut up and listen to the government, dude. I don't think so. I don't. Look at that. They hide things. That's something hidden there. Just don't even think about it. Yeah, that's what they want us to do. Just don't even think about anything. So, but we're not like that. We think about everything. I think that's something. You know? All this here, and they call it nature preserves, stuff like that, to keep us away from digging at stuff, just to keep us away. You know, so I would suggest doing this on your own too. That way you can see, I don't know what this is. Oh, I think I marked this because of that one TV show, Laugh Below Zero. I think that's where that guy on Lake Chandler lives, even though it's called some other lake. But I don't know what that was. I don't know why I marked it, but I do know I see a circle there. See, look at that. Could be another bomb there. We don't know. And just what kind of a bomb would leave a mark? Like, do the bombs that we drop in Afghanistan leave marks like that? That are like the size of an entire town? I don't think so. Now everything to me is interesting. Now I'm just looking at everything. Was that a star fort? Because that looks, you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm at now, is just kind of, now, what do they say? When your eyes are open, it's hard for them to go back to sleep, or to shut down. That's pretty much how I feel. Is now I feel awake, so I'm gonna look at every single town now. Isn't that crazy? Like, I mean, I want to get into history, and I'm looking into the history of the smallest towns that I would never go into. I would have never thought I was going to do that. But, yep, that looks like everything that we just got done watching. Just all dried up and super huge. So, this is it for this one. I can't wait to make the next one. That's coming out a little bit later on today. So until then, thanks for watching.